This is CFA Level 3 and today I'm going to discuss the capital market expectations. If you want to see the market expectation, there are 7 things that we have to do. Starting from that, first of all, we should know what are our objectives. For identifying our objective, we can see that what kind of questions are required. What is the specific need in terms of relevant asset class. We can research the historical records. We can seek to identify the facts related to that class of asset. We can specify the methods, models and their requirements. We can determine the best source of information. We can interpret the current investment environment, that it is suitable, moderate, or market is going aggressive. We can provide the documentations, we can monitor outcomes and compare them to the expectations. These are the 7 things that if we do, it will help us to know the market expectations. Of course, when we do this, there are certain challenges that we face in terms of forecasting. Forecasting is a few things based on your past data and you make an estimation about your future. So a lot of things depend upon the quality of information in general. We also consider that how old the data is, how much revisions it has took when it finally reaches to us. Then we can see what are the change in calculative methods based on the yearly change in policies and procedures. How much free these are from the biases, how much errors they have. This is, we should know there are a couple of errors, transcription errors. We have some biases, we have data appraisals. If we do this, this will be a challenge for us in terms of their legitimacy and the quality of the information. When we use historical estimates has historical weaknesses. For example, like authenticity of records, completeness. We can check like the reliability, relevance. We can check the comprehensiveness. Data changes over the period of time, so circumstances, responses to the outer market. This is all has to be linked with this concept. Some people say that the ex-post risk can be biased measure of ex-ante risk. So, like in historical prices, price could be reflected a large negative event that never materialized. So, then there are some biases in analyst methods. Each method leads to each researcher methodology and ideology, which may not be the legitimate method for that particular kind of research according to your mind. Then we have data mining issues. It may be biasness in terms of data mining. Data mining is growing. Researchers are using the repeatedness of the data availabilities, which authenticate the quality itself. And it may be a bit in pieces. You use it like a mosaic theory. This is we have to filter out. Time period biasness is related to the specific period of times, which may not be a true indicator for today's environment. In terms of failures, there are a couple of failures, like the failure to account for conditioning information. Your forecast may differ from the actual. You may incorporate a variance because of the data sensitivity and information flow. We can misinterpret the correlations between different options. We may get ourselves into a psychological trap. That is like the tendency of mind to have disproportionate weight to the first information it receives on the topic. So even when we go in Google, we search something like investment, the first website comes, we click and we read. So it develops a mind. This is like a psychological trap. Sometimes we want to stick to the information that we have previously. We don't want to change our thinking based on new information and new parameters. Same way we have status quo traps, the tendency for forecast to the recent observation, that is no change from the recent past. We have confirmation leads individuals to give greater weightage to the information that supports and that does not support your opinion. So we will ideally base ourselves on that kind of information which is we like to based on. Sometimes we say that we want to listen. We listen what we want to listen. In fact, there are so many talks being conveyed to you, but you pick those things which is of your area of interest. This is the human mind and it's a human tendency. Same like when it comes to research, we do the same behavior. Overconfidence is again a killing stuff. Like when you become more than required confidence that you have, it creates another negativity or overall failure for reading the expectations of the markets. We can talk about certain model and input modalities. The most important is to keep ourselves on quantitative factors, not ignoring the qualitative factors. What is the first statistical methods that we have? They are like historical statistics approach. We can use sample as estimators. We have a total population based on the sensitivity levels. We can choose the samples that can best represent the total markets. We have shrinkage estimators. They're based on weighted average of historical estimates. We can work over time series estimators. These are based on different time analysis. We can calculate the volatility clustering based on a specific group. We can use the beta, which is always between 0 to 1. And we can see the influence of previous over the current and current over the previous. We can use multi-factors models. They calculate the covariance. It simplifies tasks by using factors. It may filter out noise and you will get the right message. Model makes it easy to verify the consistency of the model itself. So if you apply over the period of time, you will get the right results. Gordon model is something that we have already discussed in certain levels. It incorporates the inflation, real gross domestic product (GDP), plus excess corporate earnings. Then we can see the Grenoble-Cornell model. This is GG. Shortly we call the share repurchase. We can take about dividend yield, expected percentage change in outstanding shares, inflation, real total earning growth, and the per period percentage change in price earning multiples. If you combine together, it will be a good method to see the DCF, discounted cash flow analysis. We can adopt the risk premium approaches like journal risk free, then RPs, RPKs. We can calculate the fixed income premiums, that is the real risk, free rate, inflation premiums, default risk premiums, liquidity premiums, maturity premiums, and tax premium. There are certain tools related with fixed income premiums. We can use equity risk premium, that is BEY plus premium. It applied on government bonds. We can add the equity risk premium. We have some other tools like financial market equilibrium model, CAPM. We have already discussed capital asset pricing model. For international market, we have international capital asset pricing model. That is domestic risk-free rate and risk premium based on asset sensitivity to the world market portfolio.